Did you guys see the quotes from Luke Donald last week? I think it was. Did you see something about this?
He said, "We're going to batter them."
Alongside that, yeah.
Right.
If you didn't, and if you haven't watching at home or listening at home, we got a kind of small insight into potentially the decisions that Luke's going to make going into Bethpage. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying this isn't cutting edge information. This is stuff that we all probably knew before we even made, but it's just good to hear it come from the mouth of the person who's making the decisions.
Yeah.
And basically what he was saying is that around Bethpage Black, you have to be a good driver of the golf ball. Did you know that? Did you know that?
I thought that it favoured wayward driving.
I thought so too.
So that's actually really good information.
Also on top of that, you have to have a bit of length. Now, Luke, I don't know why you're talking about that, but I'm assuming he's on about the golf ball.
I think that's what it is.
Okay, good.
Otherwise, I'll be in the team.
Okay. So he was speaking about people who can drive the ball well and also hit it pretty far. Now, we kind of knew that with Bethpage. We've seen it with US Opens in the past. We know kind of what the course is going to be set up like. And I think that obviously helps as well with the decision making because you've got a lot of data around that golf course from previous competitions. So moving forward, we've only got 3 more events now until the Ryder Cup qualification shuts. So I think at the minute it's Rory, Tommy, Tyrrell, Sepp, Shane, and one more. Or was that 6? Robert McIntyre.
Rory, McIntyre, Fleetwood,
Yeah.
Hatton, Lowry, Stracker.
So let's, for argument's sake, say them 6 are in.
Yeah, and then Scheffler, Schauffele, Spawn, Henley, DeChambeau, and Harris English.
Yeah. So for argument's sake, let's say that those Europeans, the top 6 is set. So moving forward, if we're looking at kind of the selections that we think we might see, my original thought when I heard that quote was like, oh, right, let me go and see some data on this, me being me, and go and see who is driving the ball the best this year. Now, not only did I find the data, someone had collected the data for me, which is my favorite kind of data because I get to see it and I didn't have to work for it, which is even better.
Yeah.
So I believe we've taken this from Today's Golfers article that they did on it, and it's basically a long list, and maybe we'll throw it up in the YouTube video. Of all the players that potentially could get picked for the Ryder Cup this year and their driving distance, accuracy and strokes gained off the tee. So there's some really interesting conversations I think you can have from this, because starting off straight away, the first name that screams out to me is Marco Penge. Now, starting in the year, Marco Penge would not have even been thought of as a player for the Ryder Cup this year. He's obviously had a kind of small/quick ascendancy in the last month or so. Obviously that Scottish Open really put his name out there and people started to recognise him, but then also made people aware of how far he hits the golf ball.
Yeah.
You know, he absolutely smashes it. So he's 8th for driving distance on tour. It's 321.5 yards.
Average.
So average. It's a long way.
Which and listen, I don't know if you know how averages work, but what they do is they add them all up and divide them by how many there are. And what that means is that he hits a lot of golf balls further than that.
Yeah.
Like a lot further.
Yeah.
Didn't he hit one 390 something yards at the Scottish Open?
Yeah.
Cool.
And then you
tap that in.
You then go you then go further down this list, and I'm only really quickly scanning through it now, but of the 10, 12 names that are on here, he's probably like 4th for driving accuracy as well. Like 53rd, I know it's not staggering. It's not on Aaron Rai, which I'm sure we'll get onto in a moment. But, 60% of driving accuracy whilst hitting it that far is a weapon. That's something that definitely could be utilised. And he's 4th as well, stroke gained off the tee for the season. Like, this is a guy who, with the driver in his hand, is lethal. He is a very, very good driver of the golf ball. Obviously, the problem then lies of, do you think that he is capable of putting himself in that? Because this is a hard Ryder Cup to come into as a rookie. Yeah. And not only just a rookie, someone who really has only been playing on the DP World Tour. So it's
an overseas Ryder Cup as well.
Overseas Ryder Cup, absolutely. There's a lot of factors, I'm sure, that will go into the decision making as well. Do you want to talk? You want to talk about Aaron Rai? I know you want to talk about Aaron Rai.
I will talk about Aaron Rai whenever there's dead space. But just quickly on Marco Penge, the The thing that runs in his favour, I feel, that could put him in a position to get picked, is that Luke Donald has shown a willingness to pick people who have not proved themselves before.
Yeah.
Namely, another man on this list, Ludwig Oberg, who we knew almost nothing about when he teed it up at the Ryder Cup in Rome. He had some success in recent times. His game was going to be a good fit for the golf course. He had some friends in the team. Put him in there. Let's see how he did. He did pretty good. He did okay. So there is a willingness from Luke Donald to make decisions that don't necessarily, make themselves.
Yeah.
Make sure you take Fleetwood.
I think you could even
pick Justin Rose.
I think you could even argue with the Nikolai pick last time round as well. I think there was kind of a call of it should be Moronk.
Yeah.
But he went with what he felt was necessary, even if it was this is a guy that's going to play a Ryder Cup for the next 10 years and we want to start him now at a home one, So maybe this time round it is a little bit too early for Marco Penge and that it's just kind of not the right environment to do so.
Yeah.
But we know that he's got the tools that would be, if he plays well and drives it well, incredibly useful around Bethpage Black.
Yeah, so Marco Penge gets our vote.
Yeah.
Would you take him?
Yeah, no.
Okay, but there are lots of factors that say he would be a good fit.
Yes.
Now, someone who, on the other end of that spectrum, the most accurate man on the golf tour, Aaron Rai, doesn't hit the ball very far. In comparison to a lot of these other people. His average diving distance being 290-ish off the tee, which is, for normal golfers is the stuff of dreams. But when you've got other people on this list hitting it 320, 317, 312, that 168th in driving distance leaps out from that left-hand column. But the accuracy off the tee is where he is just leaps and bounds ahead of everyone else on this list. The only person close to him strokes gained is Oberg, and we know how accurate and how efficient Oberg is at getting the ball in the fairway. So there's gonna be a conversation, I think, based on how Aaron Rai has been playing recently, about whether a Dietrich, a Fitzpatrick, Matt Wallace is in with a shout. I wonder if that conversation is going to center around which of them is going to hit the fairway to put themselves, and also obviously Aaron also excellent with his irons, great with his wedges. There's going to have to be a conversation about which players are going to have the skill set to make Bethpage Black play to their advantages.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Marco Penge is not quite as accurate as everyone elseness, but much longer, means that conversation of them two might be based on one of them hitting it the furthest and one of them hitting it the most accurate, the one that decides which one of them gets to go. Because neither of them, have Aaron Rai very early in his PGA Tour career, Marco Penge only just coming out of the kind of DP World Tour, spotlight a little bit. So I think it's a very tough conversation to have about, if it comes down to we need someone to do it, which one of those do you go for? You go for power and distance, or you go for accuracy and almost a surefire fairway every single time?
Well, I'm not saying it's right, but it sounds like Luke Donald is making up his mind. And if I was Aaron Rai right now, I'd start an aggressive course of speed training.
The old Matt Fitzpatrick that video of him with all the wires on him.
It is, it's an interesting way of looking at it, and I guess as well, we're all thinking that Bethpage, or the Bethpage we know, is the US Open version where it's really hard. Everyone knows the sign that you see before you go and play it. It's an incredibly difficult golf course, but what we've seen from Ryder Cup venues in America is they don't usually set them up like that. That's the European way of growing up the rough and making it hard, and you can't just bomb and gouge the whole time. So maybe there is more of an argument of an Aaron Rai. And also, I think when you're talking about these people, you kind of have to think they're not going to play much. You need them for a singles, and they probably will play a maximum of 2 other sessions.
Yeah,
Probably only even one.
Yeah.
So if you think of an Aaron Rye, I could see is like a really good foursome partner. Like he's just going to hit it
Definitely.
in the fairway, and then that gives you know, I'm not saying it's going to be a Rye Rory partnership, but like it gives you higher end players an opportunity to hit the green.
Yeah.
And I think also one of the things with Aaron Rye is you kind of have to. I don't think you can look at this completely by itself and then decide that just off his driving alone that could be a good thing or a bad thing. If you package up the fact that Aaron Rye is an incredibly accurate driver, doesn't drive it super far, but then he is one of the best long iron hybrid players on the tour.
Yeah.
So he is obviously hitting more into greens, but when he has a long iron in his hand, he's also really good. So like, and I know that's an obvious thing to say. He's been playing well on the tour this year. There's obviously a package of his game that is working well. But it does work well, and it works for him. And like you say, I think form, you know, you spoke about Ludwig, but like he just won before we picked him.
Yeah.
He won in Crans, like he was feeling great. So there was almost more of a, well, Luke felt I can pick him now because he's in form, he's playing well, he's won.
Yeah.
I think it probably enables as well, because you think personality types, because I remember when they announced that Hatton and Rahm were going to be playing together, I was like, like, do their games really go that well together? And then
good luck to whoever's on the other side of that one.
Yeah, basically just asked, and they said, like, they both get so angry they just start finding each other quite funny, and that just works. Whereas I imagine you put Rye into that sort of situation, partner with either of them, that wouldn't work. But put him with someone like Tommy, who's quite mild-mannered, but this kind of brings out the best in him. I reckon the two of them would do quite well. So it gives you another option. And like, to be honest, I think if this was purely on the merits of how well you golf it, he should absolutely be there.